Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live for another episode of the Mix Behind the Mic podcast. On with us, special guest Amanda from Love Struck Pictures, 18-year vet photographer, coming on to tell us all the do's and don'ts of everything in the wedding business. Amanda, welcome to the show.
What's up, Harry? We're so happy to be here.
I'm so excited for you to come on. Episode 33 here in the new Studio 33. And I cannot believe that you're our first photographer on the pod.
What an honor.
And I'm very excited about it. So, backstory, me and Amanda go way back. So much that I'm going to out myself. I wasn't planning on doing this, but when I think of our story, I think of how you're friends with one of my best friends' nieces,
Right.
which just makes me feel old when I say it like
Yeah.
that. But we've known who each other were for multiple years in the
Harry,
business.
since I was a child, I've known who you are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But seriously, so literally years. And one day we work a wedding together and we're like, you're like, you're?
Yeah,
We're like,
you're that guy, Harry,
Boom.
that I've
And,
been hearing
like,
about.
It's been awesome ever since.
Yeah.
So, 2014, you said you think we met? Ballpark?
Yeah, I think 2014 was
So
the first
12
time that we worked
years.
with each other. One of my first ever gigs.
And that, going back to, I know we said this off the air, but like that was at Bensalem Country Club?
Yeah, but
for
Bensalem
Galleys?
Country Club.
Wow.
For my friend's wedding, whose family you've known forever.
So wild.
So full circle moment.
And then how many years later that her daughter got married that
Yeah,
we were
like
part of?
another 10 years.
It's like crazy.
I
when we say
know.
that.
Isn't that the fun thing about the wedding industry?
It's
It's just like circles and circles
now
and like all these lives colliding.
I label everything BC, before COVID or not now. And it's like, was it that long ago? And I still can't believe COVID is now 6 years.
Oh, I know.
plus. This next week, if you will,
Yeah.
couple weeks. It's
I was
crazy.
thinking about that on the way in with some of the questions you sent me
Yeah.
and thinking about how things used to be and how they are now. Huge difference.
And
What a ride.
And like the show is essentially for brides, but humbly, I appreciate a lot of the vendors that I know that talk about, watching clips and some of the stuff. But like the younger people, vendor wise in the business, have no clue that it was like, not like, oh, some things were different. Everything was different about weddings pre-COVID from post-COVID.
You're
It's just-
so right about
it's
that.
crazy.
The whole culture of weddings, the expectations, how we market, how we work with our clients. It is so different now.
full.
You know what I think it was? The TikTok. Everyone was on lockdown, and then TikTok became the big thing.
And
And
just
now
changed the game of-
it changed the game of wedding industry.
Yeah. So before we dive in, start us off. How do we get into it? Do we always want to do photo? Were we always wanting wedding? Give us the full background.
Okay, so full background, I'm a nursing school dropout.
Yes.
So no, wedding photography was actually really never on my scope of anything that I wanted to do. But the first seed was planted actually when I met my now husband.
Okay.
Him and I met at Planet Fitness on Roosevelt Boulevard, which I think is actually shut down now.
It is.
But I was like at a weird impasse in my life where like I had just dropped out of college and I was trying to I was back home. I was like, what am I doing next? And I met my husband and young 20-some-year-old. And he tells me as we're getting to know each other for the first time, I own a business. And at the time it was like a video production company. And maybe like it was 2012. So back then it was different. Like there was no social media. It was like
Right,
when you're a
another world.
videographer, it's like you did a little of everything. You did corporate shoots, you did the car commercial, you did the sports, you did the graduation for Penn State, you did weddings. Like it was just part of it. It wasn't
Right.
like you're a wedding videographer. Like, there was some of that out there, but not nearly what it was today. So that like planted a seed in me and my now husband's first conversation ever, where I was like, okay, that's interesting. Got to know him a little bit more. And literally just looking over his shoulder as he worked. At the time I was washing dishes. I had like just a job.
Sure.
And I was like watching him editing videos and doing the process of weddings. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this is like a whole thing. Like I never saw wedding videos before. I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole
Wow, I've
world.
seen that aspect.
So that's kind of like my first exposure to it. And then just gradually as him and I progressed in our relationship, I I was helping with the girly things like putting the boxes of the USBs together, tying the little bows, writing the thank you cards to his clients. And just as time went on, I'm like, hey, I could, he's doing it this way, but what if we do the albums
Spice
this
it up
way?
a
Just
little.
add the spice to it. And then it just wasn't long before him and I just really started intertwining and working together. And then just by osmosis, um, being around cameras and weddings, I just started to get into it. It became
I
my
love this.
lifestyle.
I love
And
this.
I don't know, it was very much like a ground up. It was never on my scope. I'd always been like an artsy person, but I decided to go to college. Like, I want to be a nurse, you want to make a stable income, like something with benefits, take that safe route. And that really just kind of imploded in my face. And then, like I said, the little seed of starting a business, and here we are.
So two things. One, we're dubbing this the Surfside episode, and
Cheers
we'll
to
cheers
that.
this because first time I've ever had a beverage on the show, but me and Amanda have been friends for 12 years. We're vendors, and we never get to enjoy a cocktail together.
Never.
So as we're in the new studio, and a friend dropped off a 12 pack and said, "Hey, welcome," I was like, "Oh, Amanda, would you like to have a beverage with me?" So here we are. So cheers to you, ma'am. So let me say this: we've been friends that long. I don't think I know that story.
Right?
I no idea knew that it was like he started a video aspect of things,
Mhm.
and now full circle here we are. And to be honest, 33 episodes in, I think it's wild that I feel like more than half of the people that I have come on the show that talk about their experience, they were never planning on doing this. This was never part of the plan. I don't know if I've ever said this, and we do a lot of episodes, but maybe I have. I want to be a history teacher at one point. So
Interesting.
like people are like
Really?
literally like
What?
sophomore year of high school, I like loved my history teacher, and like I was not like a book smart kid, ADHD. My chair was in the hallway at the time, but like it's just one of them things where I could just read a textbook of like my history shit. Like for whatever reason, like early American history like interest me, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be a teacher. I liked kids, the whole nine. And then for whatever reason it just completely changed, and obviously went this route. But like even when I left college, I had no interest of thinking I was going to be in this field. I literally just kind of fell into it. So I love hearing your story.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding field. I love the community. I love the connection. I love the appreciation. Listen, we did corporate work for a long time. So, like, for a while, we did weddings, but we also did corporate work. We only did 20 weddings a year at the time. So it was kind of like a supplemental thing. As the weddings grew, it became our full time thing. But we spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort doing these corporate jobs. And people watch the video one time
It's a different world.
and then never see it again, and all that blood, sweat, and tears and stress that went into it. But then now I've got clients from 10 years ago, they've got children and they send me videos. It's the best. Oh my gosh, they send me videos of their children watching their wedding videos that we filmed years and years ago. One of my first clients ever sends me a video and says, my son was asking where he was at because he sees this party with mom and dad and grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles. He's like,
Right.
hey, where was I? Like,
Right.
why was I not at this party? And that's the thing. That's why we really stuck with it.
So I got one for you. I'm very curious how this, and because you're the first photographer, I don't know if I've ever said this, and I feel like sometimes it's like blasphemy that I say this, but I'm very curious about something you just said. In 2026, recently in calls and consults with people, I mention everybody gets photography. Not everybody gets videography for their weddings. And I think I'm going to say it. I keep not sure if I'm going to say it out loud yet, but I almost think in the world we live in 2026, video is more important than photo. And like people's heads spin when I say it. I don't know if I've ever said this on the pod yet, but I've been saying it recently on consults simply because, like I said, everybody gets photo, not everybody gets video. But you just hit the nail on the head. The classic line is the picture on the mantle is timeless for the kids. 10 years from now, 15 years from now. My rebuttal is I want the kids to relive it and to watch it. And everything today is so technology based and video. And, I'm just curious if I'm alone. And again, there's multiple pros and cons, obviously, if you will, on the video versus photo aspect. But just curious your initial thoughts of me saying that out loud.
I think video, as the photographer, I do think it's vastly more important. And
Yes.
my husband and I got married, and I like look at our wedding photos and I appreciate them. I have a few favorites, but like the wedding video, when I watch that, I sob
I
in a
misunderstood
way
what you
that
said. So wait, I missed that. You're saying you agree?
I agree.
Oh, okay. I
so
missed
agree.
that. Okay. Yes. I'm like, do I say this out loud? Because I just want people for that alone, that reason alone. But keep going. I wanted to make sure I was on the same page with you of you saying that.
Yes. I do think that the video has it has an impact that the photos don't have. And I agree. Like the photos are important to put on the mantle. They are a good recollection to like look back at, but the video, like it just awakens something in you when you relive it that you just don't get from photos. And that's coming from a photographer. Like I said, when I got my wedding photos, I was like, these are great, love them, awesome, got a few printed on the wall. But when I watched that wedding video, I legitimately sob.
And still to this day, I feel like X amount of years later, I feel like it just hits you that much harder than, and again, like I'll also preach, like sometimes people pay us for their photo albums and then they don't get, like, I don't even want their money. Like, please pay this, get this done so you have this timeless thing. But again, when you look back at that photo album, I just don't think it has the same oomph, that same, like, you know,
seeing the way that you walked, the way that you talked, the way that you interacted with each other. And especially now that we've been married for 5 years now and we've had kids, and looking back and being like, wow, like just so much about our life. And even where we did like the photos and video, like where we used to live in East Falls, and just like some iconic areas that we used to visit. Like it just really brings a lot back when I watch that video. And it's still one of the songs that just means a lot to us. It's just, it's a different experience.
Can I ask?
It's okay. So like my husband and I used to,
come on. I know. Like, that's why I'm like, I need to know. Like,
so we were like, one of the reasons why my husband and I started talking was because we were into punk rock music. And it's a band called Anti-Flag. Okay. And they have a song.
No clue, by the way, but
yeah. So they have a song that we really resonated with.
And that's the song for your video?
Okay. Yes. And actually my husband had an Anti-Flag tattoo.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons why, like, when we first started talking, I'm like, oh, this isn't just a random guy coming up to me at the gym. Like, I see this tattoo, like it means something.
You knew immediately.
Yeah, it was, you know what? That's a weird thing. But it was like that first conversation and seeing the tattoo and all that. But yeah, anyway.
Listen, I think it's awesome. So 2014, 2017, 18, Love Struck. Where did the name come from? Let's start there before we dive into some questions.
So I wish that I had a cooler story. It's really not that exciting.
Okay.
So I was mentioning that my husband and I were a little bit like in a punk rock phase when we first met. We had the hair, the tattoos, the piercing, the whole 9 yards. Went to shows all the time. And
can we insert like picture of her and her husband like right here?
Yeah, I've got a few.
All right, put this for this clip. Go ahead.
So when we first started, that's where we were at. And my husband's production company was called Uprise Productions. And when we started expanding more into weddings, I was like, Uprise Productions is not a cute wedding name. Let's do Uprise Weddings. Still wasn't doing it for me. So at the time I was like, wouldn't it be cool if our company's name was Lovesick? Like Love Weddings, Sick, because it's punk rock. Found out that there's already a Lovesick in Philly, and they're fucking amazing. So the next thing that came to mind was Love Struck, and that's basically the name I went with, and it stuck. And I really wasn't expecting it to stick, and it just stuck. And I think it's so us. And yeah, here we are.
Almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
So crazy. It's just so wild. I can't get over how many years fly by. I also think, and I said this earlier in another pod, when we're also talking to clients for next year and potentially even 2 years, I feel like the time gap of like how many years things ago are, because you're already stuck in 2027 talking to some people today that, 2018 is like, someone said something earlier and she said 2007. And I was like, I didn't realize that was like
Yeah,
literally 20
how long
years
ago
ago.
that
Like,
was.
right. Like how long ago
Mhm.
that was.
I think that is like a really weird time warp that we specifically deal with as wedding vendors, is thinking ahead 2 years. So when it is 2027, I'm not shocked because I've already been thinking about
Right.
2027 for 2 years at this point.
Literally.
Okay, so this is kind of like an industry thing that I
Okay.
think we're seeing.
Go
But
for
I'm
it.
really liking the way that like social media is like shifting right now to like education with our clients. And I think it's giving us like a huge platform. And what I'm really loving right now for myself is those swiping posts on Instagram where you like, it's like a text swipe. Like everybody's doing it, like florists, like,
Yep.
venues. I'm sure you've done a few
Yeah.
at this point. But I just feel like it's a really good way to like get things across to our clients that isn't a blog. And it's also not putting yourself necessarily on camera all the time
Yeah.
and like feeling that like huge pressure to like, because how long does it take to make a video? Oh my gosh, so long.
Ask Keith.
How many takes? It takes on takes and editing. So I just really am loving that format. And then I think like industry wise, like actual weddings, I'm really liking like this resurgence of um like people like loving this like nostalgia, channeling like the 90s, the 2000s. And I'm also loving like we're moving a little bit more toward like color again, because things have been so hyper like minimalistic, black and white, like
Yep.
neutrals. We even saw how many venues went up that were that like industrial minimalistic,
Yep.
like just clean lines, everything. So I'm loving that people are starting to like look at woodwork and like,
The colors hardcore.
yes,
I
yeah,
recently had someone couple on a couple weeks ago, and that was the first thing she said was she does a lot of signage, and she was like, "We're finally slowly getting away from just black and white, and like,
right.
and I want high end weddings, but it doesn't just have to be black and white and black tie, if you
Yeah.
will, and
We can have so much
vibe
fun.
with right.
Hmm.
I'm here for that, and I think for some strange reason it takes some kind of like high quality away that it's not just simple black white or
Right.
black tie kind of
I
thing.
find it more inspiring as the person creating the
Right.
photos of the like, I
Right.
feel more inspired. There's like character behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like for maybe like the last 2 years, like that, just very plain has been in style. Like the everyone's chasing like editorial vibes right now. And that's great. But what I felt like was like fun and unique, then everybody started doing it. And then it just has become what we expect. So now that we're welcoming color back and texture and things that were like old and vintage,
Yeah.
it feels like new and fresh again
Yeah.
and exciting.
I'm here for it. I like that things simply change every couple years, so
Mhm.
it's not stale anyway. But going back to transition even to talking like Gen Z weddings more now, I feel like we got to give a lot of praise because everything that's starting to trend Gen Z wise, I'm here for all of it.
Mhm.
And old head Harry over here, just, I can't get over how different it's been. Like, I feel like if my kid was a little older and I like explained to him, he would think 2018, if you will, to 2026 would have been his generation versus my generation. Is
Mhm.
that much of a gap that we're talking 8 years? It's
Mhm.
just crazy.
Yeah, I think that the way that Gen Z is approaching weddings is very exciting. And I think that we're at an interesting impasse. I'm even seeing this with my family members. I have younger cousins who are in high school right now, like asking us for our CD collection.
That's
So I
so
think it's cool
crazy.
because they're really like in all of like the 90s and the 2000s, but like we actually live that. So I think it's a really cool perspective as a vendor with Gen Z. It was like, no, like I was there when, these things were in style. And now
Yeah.
that it's coming back, like the film, the nostalgia, the color palettes that we're seeing, the music that they want to be played, the way that they're trying to live in an era that they never were able to exist in, like that time before like phones and everything was being recorded. But yes, I'm so here for what Gen Z is doing. And I'm loving that they're like a little bit like more laid back. I think we're seeing the end of like the millennials um getting married, because like what millennials like 43ish at this point, right?
The funny thing
Right,
was,
upper like 40s.
all right, to out myself real quick, I embarrassed the shit out of myself on a pod 3 months ago because I thought for sure I was not a millennial. I don't know why,
Oh
but
wait,
I
no.
I am a
You
millennial.
so are.
I
You're
so
like
am.
OG millennial.
I am OG millennial. I'm 41 and I'm a millennial. But yeah, I mean, realistically, yeah. So I think the turning point, it all depends on, I don't know. I go back and forth with this as far as like what's different or what's the same. Because I don't know, I'm all over the place with my thoughts right now. But if you got married in 2018 versus 2026, what are you going into that's different? And we simply say TikTok is a perfect example. But I also feel like the only negative part that we can easily talk about and flip is doing too much because you saw everything. And actually, you wrote something down that really excited me because something we talk about in every single podcast. And I actually don't think I did it on the last one today. Expectations versus reality is everything. And there's so many things that you see on a TikTok or Instagram that you think looks so cool, but doesn't mean it's going to be cool at your wedding. Or
Hmm.
how much time does it take, or how much time does it take away from you for said things? So, what are your takes on this?
Yeah, I feel like we're being inundated with a certain style, like a certain aesthetic, a certain way that we want to be presented, because of social media. And what people don't realize is like that's not most real life people. Like
Right,
that's probably not you.
right.
What I'm seeing right now is a lot of people are trying to be that person, and that's like not them. Like that's not their group. Like why are we trying to bring like these posh Vogue vibes when like we're from Bridesburg? Like that's not who we are. And I feel like there's like a clash when that happens. And then also people are just stressing themselves out, like trying to be an aesthetic that they
That is
literally
the
are not. That's not them, that's not their family. And we're just, yeah, just trying to be something we're not.
that is the exact nail on the head for me. Eliminate as much stress as possible, adding in so many small little things that you think you have to do that you don't.
Hmm.
For like, I also bring this up a lot. Are you doing it for yourself or for the gram?
Right.
And like, that's something massive. And listen, like, you're paying us. We'll do whatever you want. We'll help you assist whatever you want. But how do you focus on, and I've said this before too, what their vision is in the consult when they book us versus things they talk about in that final meeting. And so much has changed from their original consult when at least on the DJ aspect of like everything up front, party vibes, dinner quick, we're doing a buffet to save time. But then when the final meeting comes, they add it in. They're doing 6
Hmm.
speeches and they're doing this and we're going to do, and I'm just like, again, what am I saying? No, of course we're going to do
No,
whatever you
you're
want,
gonna grin and
but
bear it.
like but sometimes I am very thorough with people where I try to be honest and be like, I just, want to stress what you told me your initial
Hmm.
plan was. So there's definitely pros and cons of it. I'm here for a lot of them. I just also feel like people have a misconception of time, which obviously
Yeah,
you
you
know more
think
than
that the
anything.
night's gonna last forever and ever. When you think about it, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a 16-hour day, but the day completely flies by. And especially if you try to do all the things and you try to incorporate too many details, too many moving parts, and also like too many expectations. What people don't realize is a lot of those photos that you see like on Instagram, like they took an exorbitant amount of time to do those. And also a lot of those candids that you see are not actually candid, or they could be
Right.
styled shoots. They're really hot couples from really beautiful places. And that's just not going to be your reality because we're in Philadelphia. We work with the blue collar type here. And that's just like not going to be like you, and it's not going to come across that way. And I also feel like people have become like a little bit performative. Not, I would say, not my clients, probably not your clients, but I do get a few like on the outskirts that I'm like, this is a bit performative, and we're losing sight of like, we're here, this is friends and family, this is
Right.
your coworkers, this is like not like you're not.
A photo. What did you? I think. How did you put it? It's not a photo op. Was that what I talked to you about this recently? Someone just said like there's a difference from knowing that, at least if we're talking photography, that like there's a goal in mind, we have a timeline in place, and too many people turn it into something it's never supposed to be in so many words.
Yeah, like it's supposed to support, like a timeline is there to basically support you having a good time. It's not there to cram in every little thing, every little photo
As
up.
much as possible, right?
Yeah, and I think that people sometimes see like, oh, like I feel safe because I have this timeline broken down into every 5 or 10 minutes. But very rarely does a
Does it ever go
wedding,
that way? Right.
yeah, like
Definitely.
I feel like the best weddings are the ones that there's like this go with the flow aspect, and the
I
ones that
love
they
that.
don't have like a laundry list of shots and expectations. They're the ones that usually come to me like, hey, like you do your thing, and they live in the moment, and we carve out some time for photos, but and especially if the couple like is really enjoying themselves together, like that's when you're going to get like a lot of those great shots that you want.
Everything you just said is so powerful because I'm always like, and let's be honest, I don't want to ever say anything cringy to have a bride not like us, right? But I'm also thorough and honest. A lot of times Keith will yell at me because I say I hate this and I hate that. And I say I hate these things not because I don't want the bride to get what she wants, but I want them to respectfully know that I've been doing this for 20 years. We do this every weekend. And we know how much time and effort goes into all these little things that I don't want to eliminate them because they're annoying to me or because I don't
No,
want to do
not that at all.
right. I stress that I want you to have the best possible night
And
you
how many
can.
times have you been in this situation when you're there at the wedding, you're like, these guys just tried to do way too much.
Yeah,
Like
like,
she's crashing out right now and she's like miserable because they tried to do too much. And also there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
well,
Like
that's a big one
that,
too.
like I did a wedding last year where I just felt like there was too much and like that wasn't even like who the bride was. Like she was a low key kind of girl. And like there's just too many cooks in the
Bells and
kitchen. And the whole
whistles.
time as she's getting her hair and makeup done, it's like just people constantly coming up, like asking her questions. And I'm like, she's literally here trying to marry the love of her life. I don't even think she cares about any of these questions right now. She just wants people to do it.
Right.
And yeah, it really causes like an overstimulation and like, it's just like too much. Like it's hard to focus on the moment when you're being pulled in a whole lot of different directions. But the downfall was I felt like it was probably overplanned. It was too much. There was just too many moving parts happening
Which
for
happens a
who they,
lot.
yeah, for like who they were. And they were a great couple. They had wonderful chemistry, wonderful family overall, but like I kept seeing that bride getting pulled in so many directions all night that I just felt like she couldn't lock in like on her wedding day and like actually be there in the moment. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Like we're not trying to, say no to your ideas. We want to fulfill them. That's what
Right.
we do. Like we're people pleasers at the end of the day. We want
Sure.
our brides and grooms to get what they want and we'll do it at your wedding. But we've been around the block enough times to know like, hey, like catch yourself because when you're planning, like I even saw it for myself when I planned my own wedding and I'd been doing it for about 10 years at that point. So my
Yeah.
husband and I got married during COVID and I thought I could do it all. And I thought I could do all the things and still like we had a small 10-person wedding and I saw how I got myself sucked into the details.
Right.
And then you just kind of black out. So that's what we're trying to avoid when we're giving advice.
Literally.
Not trying to make anybody feel bad. We just want you, because we have seen them go well too.
Sure.
Like those days where you leave, those weddings that you leave and you're like on the ride home and you keep the party going.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was awesome. Like I want everyone to have a day like that.
Them nights my fiance doesn't understand how it was like a 12-hour day and I'm like still like raging when
Yeah.
I get home.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
because like I'm like,
Yeah, my
alive,
husband's like
yo.
with the kids all day. Like you put him down, like he's half awake because he's already been asleep for 3 hours. I'm getting home at like 12:30. I'm
Wide
sure
awake.
you get home at probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. But like I'm like, yeah, like the whole way home.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you need to
I'm
calm down right now.
leaving a wedding, I'm one extreme or the other.
One
No,
extreme or the other.
no, I'm in
No in between.
silence or I'm raging. There's
I
no
know.
like, there's no.
The ones
no
where you
between.
leave in silence, you don't even play like music on the way
Nothing.
home and you're just like processing what the F just happened. We've all been there.
Yeah. There's no middle for me.
Do you ever have to like call somebody on the way home just to like hash it out?
Sometimes my mom loves to be like, she's always like, my mom's always up late. She's always
Aw.
like, you ever want to call me on your drive home to like bullshit about your wedding, whether it's good or bad. I'm always here. So
A
like if I'm
cutie.
on like a long ride home, I always like call my mom. But yeah, Ma Dukes.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to go here for a second.
Yeah.
So again, I'm still baffled that 33 episodes in, and you're the first photographer. And here's another thing: like we always talk about, shout out to our office manager and lead photographer Mary. She wants no part of coming on the pod,
Oh.
but you know, a lot of times if I'm occasionally having some of my crew come on, I also don't want this show to be my staff every week kind of thing. We've had a couple DJs on and stuff, and we got another staff coming on tonight for the next episode. But my main thing when I'm trying to talk things with photography, and I'm, just curious your thoughts and opinions, and I don't want it to be the same because this is an easy, hot topic, but it's not something I've talked about to a photographer. So talk to me, first looks and everything about it from your aspect.
Overall, I think the common consensus is that photographers love a first look, right?
And I'm not one. So
You're not one.
so this is why I said start here for me. Go ahead.
I love a first look because I feel like, photos aside, you get the most out of your day. You get the most flexibility and you get the most time with the people that you love. So you have the whole morning with your girls. You have a first look, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours before the ceremony. Get all your pictures done. Think of it this way. You can see him or her at 2:00, or you're waiting until 6:00 to see them.
Right.
And if you wait until 6:00, then you're married. You walk down the aisle and then get your little signature drink at the end. You're in the moment. But then it's like, okay, we have to start working on photos because, we only have so much time here. And in my head too, I'm like, okay, like we have to do these family photos. We have to do bridal party. Everyone's distracted. Everyone's like on a vibe. But like we also have to get started. Not to mention if the sun is setting. Not to mention if the ceremony maybe went 15, 20 minutes behind and we have to play catch up. Not to mention if there's 26 bridal party members and aunts and uncles and everybody just all spread all over the place. We do our best to always like front load the photos, like if we don't do a first look, but there's still like a lot that people want to capture afterwards. So not like photography aside, I think just the number of hours you get to spend with your significant other is
On your wedding
the
day.
most important thing to look at. So you're either spending 10 hours with them or 5 hours with them. 5 distracted hours where you're getting pulled for photos, trying to go to cocktail hour maybe,
Right.
but most likely not. Even if it takes a half hour, and this is what couples don't realize either, even if it takes a half hour to do your photos, you're like, great, I have 30 minutes for cocktail hour. No, you don't, because you have to go up to the bridal suite. You have to use the restroom. You have to bustle your dress. You have to, fix your hair. And then before you know it, like the DJ is starting to come and get you.
People don't realize
Yeah.
the time of things.
Mhm.
It's so massive. I obviously, and again, DJ aspect completely different. But for me, and I've again said this multiple times, I think there's something massive of just getting your hellos and thank yous out of the way so you don't have to do it after, because people get pulled away and they should be able to enjoy the moment at that time. So I just always preach that. But questions for you, timeline aspect. Are you breakdown, only because I feel like you said it a little earlier than me. If they're doing 8, we'll just say 8 hours. If they're doing 8 hours and the wedding's 5 to 10 and the ceremony's 4:30, what time are you generally starting in that? And is that like all over the place or is it standard?
Okay, so usually when I'm building a timeline, I'll start at the ceremony. So if it's a 4:30 ceremony, I'll tell my clients, you want to be done by 3:30 at the
Okay.
latest for your photos, because something that's really important is building in buffer time. Because what if the photos run late for
Sure.
any reason?
Sure.
And if they don't, you're going to want that hour to just decompress. You had a whole morning. You did all these pictures. You had like a whole day by that point. Taking that hour to just decompress is so important, and getting yourself ready for that next part of the day. So if we're doing a 4:30 ceremony, we'll aim to be done at 3:30. So then I kind of count back from there. I count back an hour and a half for photos. I feel like that's a good amount of time for pictures to do everything. So like first look, bridal party, family photos in the couple. I feel like an hour and a half is a good amount of time, because it's like enough where you get variety. It's a nice thing to look forward to in your day, but it's not so much that you start to like lose
Sure.
that your energy a bit because
Absolutely.
it's too much. So if like we would start at like 2 o'clock for a first look. And then from there, I'll count back a little bit more. So like hour and a half, 2 hours for preps. Ideally for me, like I love a 10-hour day. So basically what I described to you, like that is my 10-hour day. You can do it in 8, but then you are missing a little bit like of that reception. And honestly, a lot of those weddings, like the best part of the night is that last 45 minutes. The dance floor. It's crazy. Because, there's dance floor opens, there's, a dance set, there's dinner, we come back, and then there's always that like lull almost where like people go get drinks, they have conversations, and then that last 45 minutes when the bangers start coming out, the booty popping music, everyone's a little toasty at that point. um, that's really where I love to exist on the dance floor. So like I love a 10-hour day, can be done in 8 hours. But here's the thing, if you don't do a first look, I think 8 hours is fine. You can usually fit the whole day in 8 hours.
So first off, let's go back. Our timelines are very similar on some things. I actually think I like something that you said that we don't do. I press that a minimum of 30 minutes pre-ceremony you're done. You said an hour, and I think I like your timeline aspect because there's something massive about picture in your face. You immediately walk down the aisle, and there should be time for a breather, get a drink, run away.
I'm a photographer, and when I get my photos taken, like I feel that exhaustion. And I think that's like important is to be aware of that as the vendor. Something that like kind of peeves me a little bit is I used to do like videography, and I've seen when the photography like pushes the couple like almost over the edge, like past their capacity. Photography is a lot of like reading the room.
Right.
And you can't always be like, oh, I want to keep going for like that shot, like my portfolio, like we got to hit all these locations.
And
you have to and you have to realize when your couple's gassing out, and then you're taking your experience like kind of from being great to like that's what they're going to remember when they look back at those photos. Like they're not going to be like, this beautiful photo on the steps, a merchant exchange, it's amazing. It's like, oh gosh, I was like really pissed off and I wanted to be done. I was freezing cold. My photographer kept, and we're too nice to say anything, of course.
Sure.
So we're just getting pushed.
Right.
But yeah, I'm all about just like making sure that we're pacing the day. And again, going back to us having lived the experience of seeing like when things don't go so good and then seeing when things work really well. And something I see that works really well is when people give themselves a space and stop trying to like pile things into their timeline and trying to do like forgetting transition time.
Right.
Like we don't just appear. Like we got to load things in. Like people got to settle in. If you got kids, they all need a snack. They need a diaper change. Like everyone's got like they forget all of these things.
The moral of the story so far today is that people don't account enough for time, and it's massive.
Yeah, it is so big.
How would you say your experience with weddings post your wedding, did it change anything for you post being a bride? Does that make sense?
So my like wedding story is like a little bit interesting because we got married during COVID. And I like, again, going back to like how I never imagined with the wedding industry, I just never imagined myself, never imagined myself as a bride. So like I didn't have that perspective, but I think like because I've always just been like kind of a business person, and I do this with my husband, and like that's what's most important to us.
Sure.
So when the pandemic happened, we took that as our opportunity to have the small wedding outside of like the family pressures and stuff. That aside, as I've gotten older and had kids and seen the tides of my family changed, that's where like it really became like sentimental to me. And like as time has gone on too, and I've seen like my work from 10 years ago, like what it means to people. Again, how people have watched their video with their children, like that's been huge. Another thing that's huge, and like this is kind of like dark and morbid, but like when my photos end up on the memorial table from like years ago, maybe I did another wedding in the family and like someone's pictures there that I took, like that is really what hit home for me of like how like important this is. And I think that that's like the hill that I die on is like how important of a day this is. And this isn't for content. This isn't for show. This isn't for Instagram, TikTok. We're chasing trends.
Yeah.
Like that's not what's important. Like what's important are the people in this room and what this means. Like this is a moment in time that will literally never happen again. These people in this room, on this setting, on this day. It'll never happen again.
This goes back to one of my things in the videography conversation where it's like, I tell people, like, yeah, it's like a sales pitch, if you will, but it's just pure facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only day in your life that every single person you love is going to be in one room. It's never happening again. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's worth documenting as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I both think photo and video is just something that's just needed. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
So with Gen Z, like, what do you think about content creators and the rise of that? Because I know that In the Mix does photo and video. Have you guys tried to expand into the content creation field?
So technically, I don't announce it, if you will. I don't promote it, but we offer it because I have people that do it
Mm-hmm.
that but I don't know how I feel about it because I have pros and cons. And the con is this. The reason I don't promote it is because I don't want them to think they don't need a videographer and they're getting a content creator. Now, I understand everyone has budgets. Is it worth getting bells and whistles? It's tough asking me this question only because I offer a lot of services.
Mm-hmm.
And is someone going to get DJ and photo with us and a sax player and lighting in a photo booth, and they didn't get a videographer and they went for a content creator? As the business owner, I can't be mad because the money is similar or the same because they got the live musician and the lighting and the photo booth instead. So I don't know how to answer that question on that aspect, but it all depends on what you're doing it for, in my opinion, because I definitely think there's a massive difference from a videographer from a content creator, and a videographer is supposed to tell the story. And, people use the word cinematic, and it be a love story, and it goes back to your kids watching it 5+ years later, etc. Content creator, in so many words, to me, is the quick turnaround for the gram, for, your friends or coworkers that weren't there that get to see, why can't I say that word? Snidbits is how you say it? What is that?
I would say tidbits.
Tidbits. I couldn't say it. Thank you. I'm like, I know I'm saying this wrong. That's going to be a clip. Tidbits of, the day, but it's just clear as day that it's not the same thing as video. And again, no disrespect to any content creators out there, get your money if you will. I just think there's a big misconception that they're similar, and they're not at all.
Mm-hmm. We for a minute like dabbled with content creation because I was like, oh, this fits right into like what we're already doing. But I was starting to see that like it went from someone with a cell phone to now like it's a whole like cultural shift.
And that happened,
and I couldn't
so
keep up with
fast.
it. Happened with like within months. Like I felt like we offered it kind of like what you said. Like we weren't gonna like
Push it.
promote it, but if someone was like, hey, I'm gonna offer a content creator, I'd be like, okay, well, like I could do that, so like I'll take the business. But yeah, it like so quickly just turned into like a whole service, and it got very serious, and I was like, oh, like I can't keep up with this right now. Like the way that they just like came out with their own equipment, and it almost is like video light now. Like I've had content creators come with mics, and it's interesting because I'm like, it does suit a certain couple because I can see how like I love my video, but I can see how some people it's not worth it for them. Like, I mean, I can't relate fully, but like I can see that type of couple in my head where it's not worth it for them, but the content creator like made sense. I think the part that I start to feel a little bit shifty about is when it's like photo, video, and content creator. And then on top of like, it just starts to feel like too much. It starts to feel like claustrophobic. Like how many cameras? I'm like, what is this right now? Like this is a lot.
Today, this has happened for us.
Uh-huh.
I had a couple book us DJ photo video. They booked us for Cold Sparks. I'm very upset to say that the venue doesn't allow it anymore. And they said, okay, we decided let's take that money and put it towards a content creator. Of course, I'm going to do it. But again, it's just like, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm always trying to like think of the positives or the flip side. And respectfully for us, there's one massive perk of the content creator for us. Would you like to tell me what it is? Do you know?
I like that it kind of like takes the edge off of the couple a little bit.
For me, it's free advertising for us.
Okay.
All these reels they're gonna make is.
All right.
I mean, respectfully, I'm always gonna ask the bride, like, "Yeah, you're cool
Mhm.
with us posting this stuff." I like having an extra body there that's part of the team. That can never be
If they're part of my
if they're
team, I
well,
love
that's what I'm
it.
saying. If they're
Yeah.
actually, which they're 90% of the time probably not part of your team,
Right.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
See now, and you don't have to like throw shade, but like I can 100% see photo and video not liking or not preferring the content because it's one. You said it earlier. What's the line? It's one more chief in the kitchen. What's
Yeah. One
the
more chef in the
one more chef in the
kitchen.
kitchen? Right.
Yeah.
So I said chief. That's terrible. One more chef in the
Yeah.
kitchen. So one more body there, one more person part of the timeline and getting things done. And it also goes back to the whole, doing these extra things that take time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's definitely a Gen Z thing.
I know, and I
anymore,
think it's
if you
here to
will.
stay.
I don't
So
think
I'm
it's
like,
going
as the
anywhere.
elder millennials that we are, it's kind of like we got to get used to it in a way. But it's such a, like a mixed feeling thing. Like I've seen it gone really great. I've worked with some phenomenal content creators that like stay out of the way. They help move the day along. Like they're positive. But then I've also worked with ones that were like a freaking wild card, and they're just like jumping all over the place.
I'll say
And then
this.
here's the other thing too,
Yeah.
is I feel like content creation made the bar so, so low. Like any Joe Schmo with a phone. And you know what is crazy that I'm seeing that I think is a total backfire is like people wanting to get into content creation. I've never stepped foot in a wedding day before.
Yes.
Like now charging either super cheap or like giving it away for free. And then you have people who've never ever been part of a wedding coming into like our space. And it's like you're just work like imagine being like, on the Eagles game and like the rookie day one comes in and
Right.
it's like,
Right.
dude, you're effing up the whole flow here. Like you have no idea what you're doing. Like you're standing in my way. I haven't had this happen recently where there was a girl like day one, never been to a wedding, just had a phone, gave it away for free. And I had people like what miffed me off was like I knew people in this room and they were coming up to me like, is this girl part of your
With
team?
you.
Yeah. They're like, is this girl part of your team? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, good. Like we know you. So like we like knew that wasn't you because this girl's like all up in your John. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And you know what's actually crazy? One more thing. I've seen
I'm
up
here
to
for it.
3 content creators on one wedding, which is craziness because you got like the hired one, you got the one that's there at the venue, you got the one who's the friend doing it for free. And then I'm like, whoa, like it's 2 photo, 2 video. And now we have
Get the
3
hell out of my
content
shot.
create. Like it's like that aside,
Yeah,
like it's just too much. I'm like, what is
You hit something really big for me because again, going back to like I never want people to hate us. I'm always just blunt honest. Like there's definitely really good ones out there and people that like you just said
phenomenal?
they have an
Oh, yeah.
iPhone and
I recommend
here's
those
the thing.
people.
Here's the thing I'll tell you. It doesn't go under their job description when you say what a content creator is. And I don't think most of them put this on their what they do aspect, but the ones I've worked with that I think are really good almost act as a mini planner might not be the word I want to use.
I know what
But
you mean.
they're there they're helping maybe get her dressed in the bathroom or bustling or like getting her hands dirty,
Yeah.
I should say. I think
1,000%.
they're the ones that, and again, I don't know if they incorporate that in their like pitch as far as like, I'm going to like help you, be your shadow by the way, as far as getting content and following you. But like they're the ones, here's the best way to put it. The brides that I've seen rave about their content creators are the ones that really got their hands dirty just with anything throughout the day because they were there shadowing her for the whole day.
Carrying the dress, like
Right.
fixing the bustle, placing the train for me. I've had one girl, Lexu, I've worked with a few times. Like we've created like such a bond with each other. I'd be like, hey, could you grab those details for me? Like,
Right.
and we work to move things along. So yes, I get excited when I see some people's names, but then there's other times where I'm like, what is going on? But overall, I think content creation is definitely here to stay.
It's just the era that we live in today.
It is.
And again, like respectfully, 6, 8, 10, whatever your photo video teams say for turnaround time, they're never going to match the 24-48
I know.
turnaround time, that the content
Which
be
again is
more.
also a love-hate relationship for me.
Sure,
Because part of
absolutely.
me is like, I want to put the little razzle dazzle on my photos, but like all the content that the content creator is capturing are essentially my ideas and my poses. So like that is like a hard thing for me. But what
That's fair.
I kind of opened up with this was like it also does take the edge off of the client a little bit so that they're getting that like that
Right,
taste
right.
and they're not like thirsty the day after their wedding.
I like that
So
concept.
like when I first started, it was so easy. Like that night, I'd be so juiced after a wedding. I'm like, I'm popping the SD card in. We're getting some previews out right now. But
Right.
now that I have kids and like we have an actual process, like I feel
Sure.
like it takes us sometimes days to legitimately back everything up and like offload and like safely do things. I'm not just like diving into previews anymore. Um, but I do think content creation is great for that because again, they get their Instagram posts. And people are smart enough to know the difference. You know, they know that their cell phone pictures,
Right.
not the wedding photographers. And another thing that's not reliable is asking your guest to take photos all night. So it is nice to have the cell phone
I
because guest photos are not
I say this
are you
all the
even going to
time.
see them. I had one bride say, everyone had a cell phone out in all my wedding pictures, but nobody sent me the pictures.
87 people are going to take a video or a picture of your first dance. It doesn't mean it's comparable to what the professional is going to send
No.
you. And like you just said, how many of them are, yes, you might share them to your stories, but most of them are not, good qualities or worth saving. So take me, like I said, I never want to talk negative of anyone, but like, I can't believe in 2026 when I say, hey, do you have any vendors booked? And they say just photography, that they're still interested in video, because I just assumed that they're not if they didn't get photo and video together. And I'm still able to pitch them for DJ and video.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts? And I mean, again, I know you're a strong team of photo and video. Are you seeing, I mean, no one's booking you for photo and video somewhere else, right? Like that's just
I will say that
weird.
does
Or
happen. Like, for example, I get booked with Drew here and there from Northeast Film Co.
love Drew.
But he's friggin' amazing. But he offers a completely different kind of video than I offer. So, like, if,
That makes sense. I think Drew's the exception.
yeah,
Shout out to Drew. Listen, I love Drew so much. And I told Drew I want him to come on this show because when I talk video, he would probably cringe with how I describe what we offer for wedding photography, wedding videography versus him. Because for me, like, do I say this? I'm all about the 6-hour video, and some people, you might even say the same, like 8's a min. But for me, and I also like, I'm honest when I say I'm a typical guy. Some of the beautiful, elegant photo video stuff, I don't bullshit people. I'm honest. But video for me can start at the first look. And when we talk about Drew, I really think he needs minimum 8, or if not 10, for his story. And it's like, his is magical. And like I said, not to take anything from away from our crew, I love our stuff, but like I feel like you can, like you said, how did you put it? You sell a different product? Is that the way you put it?
yeah,
I just think it's completely different. Yeah.
for me, like, it's more of like a candid capture. Like like our video team. So we work with our video team. So the way I direct also, or anybody on my team would direct, makes sense for video. And I think that's the benefit of working with the photo video team is a lot of times like we understand each other, we know the flow with each other. I know what video needs from me because I've also been the photographer
Right.
or I've been the videographer working with an external
And
photo team.
that's
And
massive.
what if they like just don't give me what I need? What if it's a lot of standing still that doesn't make sense for video?
Right.
So that's the benefit of working with the photo video team. But like we're a little bit more candid in our capture, whereas somebody like Drew is a little bit more like cinematic. Like we're curating moments a little bit more, like we're creating that fantasy and we're really going after a shot. Whereas the way that we approach video is like we're more candid, like going along with whatever is happening. We might not pull the couple for that epic lighting shot in the window. We might not do that unless the photo's already doing it.
You're describing it so
Whereas like
perfectly.
I like when I work with Drew because like he does his whole own thing and I get to be a second the passenger and they used the driver's seat. If that makes
No,
sense.
you can
But
see.
yeah, like I can see why people book photo and video separate in that way. Like
That's the only
yeah,
that's the only
that's the only,
logical
yeah.
thing in my opinion.
But what
He's the perfect example though.
yeah, and something that I think like for our industry as a whole is like I am noticing a lot of people are struggling right now, managing family life. How do you manage family life when your kid's in school 5 days a week, and then like the weekend's all you have, but that's your only time to work? So like I'm noticing as a team, like especially as I get older and move through the phases of life, that is creating the security for me, and I almost wish I saw a little bit more of that in our industry. Is people teaming up instead of trying to be the solopreneurs. Like, for example, I don't know anything about what's going on with our finances. Like, that is completely handled by somebody else. I've become incredibly unreliable at this phase with 3 kids, 3 and under, on taking phone calls and
God bless
answering
you.
emails. So, like, now my girl Natalie, who actually was a 2023 bride, and I did her sister's wedding in 2019, she does like all of our leads, our emails. So it's like we have all been able to like niche ourselves into what works for our business. And you know, as well as I do, that is a great way
Yeah.
to exist. Having all of those people in the pot to keep things going.
I think it's massive to have. Here's something we never talk about: the personal versus professional versus like. I'm crazy because I'm so anally responsive to some people, and to a fault at times where I really shouldn't be because it's family time or this and that. And, you know, being able to run a business and be a mom and a wife, if you will, is just insane in 2026. And, you know, like for me personally, I've been fortunate enough that I took a massive step back this past year where I'm not working every weekend, and it's great and amazing. But it's Tuesday. I'm going to be here till 9, 10 o'clock. And my midweeks during the week, I'm doing consults. I'm working late. I'm recording pods where my kid doesn't see me much Monday through Friday at nights because I'm either in the basement doing consults or at the office doing consults or pods. But I get my weekends now, but I don't get that during the week. So it's like you pick your poison of how you manage your time.
No, it's true.
3 under 3, God bless you. And I think you're a warrior.
Wedding chaos is nothing anymore.
I'm not going to lie.
I came back from maternity leave, like, give me the most chaotic wedding ever because nothing's as chaotic as twins.
I watch
And a toddler.
your stories, and I have popcorn at all times because I'm just like munching. Like, how does she do it? Like
I don't.
How old are the twins?
They're 8 months.
They're not even a year yet.
No,
Like,
they're crazy too.
when's their birthday?
June 22nd. Yeah, that was crazy.
I'll be in Punta Cana on their birthday.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll send you a snap.
Please do.
Damn, not even a year yet.
Yeah, it's craziness. And boys are wild. Like my daughter she's wild for a girl, but like my boys are wild. So it's coming for me, Harriet. You're already living that life. You're in it thick right now.
Oh, yeah. It's the craziest thing. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it. My kid is 6 and he's like all in on like dating and giving stuff. Oh,
it happens that quick?
Like I'm not kidding. I feel like my kid has to be the exception, but like he's like sending letters to school, stealing flowers that I give my fiance to take the girls to school. Like, please make sure my teacher gets this to this other girl in the class. Like, he's another level.
Oh,
but like
my.
he's 6, so get ready and strap in. Boys are wild.
Strap in.
Yeah, I'm excited. So a fun one. What's something fun or what's the craziest thing you've ever saw at a wedding?
Gosh, there's so many. You've been in this, like, I feel like
when people ask me this, on the spot, I can never answer the question. So
yeah, it's like I thought about this one long and hard because I've seen so much, and I'm like, at a certain point, like, I don't want to put anyone's like laundry out there, but I can.
I never say names, and I always like
Yeah.
change slight things about stuff. But like,
Okay, so I can name a few things, but then I'll end it with the craziest thing. So we've seen people crack their heads on dance floors and bleed out.
yeah,
We've seen one of the craziest ones was the bride found out at her after party that she was being cheated on the entire time at the after party, right after the whole thing.
can we pause you for 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on record and say I'm such a piece of shit. Okay, I'm in year 20. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but you just made me think of something. I am here for all of it. I might have said this before, but like I want to see this crazy stuff. I want like this. I want to see them fall down a flight of steps. Not like get hurt. Like let's be honest, but like you know what I mean. Like the couples like intro and they're like at the top of the steps. I like kind of want to see one of them not get hurt. Kind of see one of them like fall down a flight of steps. Like again in a like funny, embarrassing. I can't believe it happened, but like I feel like I'm on my way out. Like there's not many I'm doing. Like
yeah.
I just want to see. So like again, not that we ever want to see a bride get cheated on, blah blah blah.
No.
But it's like I like to have some stories before I end this thing.
But listen, said bride is cool as hell, and she found the love of her life. And now
I love them stories. Yes. I got one that I'll go real brief on, but 10 years ago, I also feel like I'm like, again, 20 years and I'm an expert. I feel like every couple I look at, and I hate to say this because now they're going to like ask me when they listen to this, but like, I feel like I look at you at your wedding, and by the end of the night, I know right there you're going to make it or you're not. And I'm friends with them all on social media. So like, I know. Yeah. And like this wedding I did, like, I don't even know if we were at the intros. I was like, this is never lasting. This guy's an asshole. Like just never. And lo and behold, they're not together. Lo and behold, probably 8-10 years later, I recently saw her at a wedding that she was a guest at. And as soon as I saw her, I like immediately pictured like she was with that asshole. And she looked so happy. And I think she's been with him for a little bit. And I follow everybody that I've ever done their wedding. I follow all their stories. So like I was always like, damn, I'm so glad to see this girl happy. And she recently got engaged. And I was like, let's go. That's awesome. And we just booked her wedding. And I'm so excited for it. And like no joke, I feel like obviously I'm never bringing up like so glad call me back, but like she'll never know how excited I am for her because this is the things that people just think it's about sales, and it's not. Like I'm a human being and I care about people and the whole nine. So I think there's something so massive that A, she respected me enough to come to us again, but B, that it's just so blatantly obvious how much happier she looks. And
that's the best part. I'll be honest. I mean, we've been in this industry 10 plus years. Like you're pretty much, if you're an awesome vendor, which that says a lot about you if they would hire you for another wedding. But I've been there a couple times too, where that second wedding, you're like, wow, like this was so much different than their first wedding.
Yeah.
And like, isn't that such a privilege to have in somebody's life, to be their vendor like twice? And they're like, you know what? You're along for this crazy ride.
I have multiple, again, 20 years, you're going to get more than one, but like, I always find that, again, the vibes. I've never seen the second one be like, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Like the second one always seems like this looks like it was.
And you really get to see that person.
Right. And again, if you're following them or friends with them on social media, you watch their life and their story evolve. So like, a lot. Shout out to
Can I tell you the craziest thing I think that has happened on a wedding?
Yeah.
Dead body on the church steps.
What? Yeah. All right, that's got to take the cake. I've had a heart attack on a dance floor. I've never had it like real one. I've never had a dead body on the church steps.
Yeah.
Pre-wedding?
Like 2 hours before. So this was in Center City.
Shocker.
I mean, not surprised. Yeah, not surprised.
Shocker.
But yeah, like walk into the room, meeting the bride for the first time, and in that moment, she's also finding out that like her church is a crime scene, and it's like 2 hours before the ceremony, and just a dead body, middle of summer, just dropped off on the church steps. Yeah. No, I think it was I think it might have been like
a drug addict?
I think it might have been something like that.
Okay, that's terrible, but wow.
So at first when we walked in, I'm like, it was like a body bag just like dumped off like crime scene, but like, oh my gosh. But yeah, she was cool about it. We pulled through.
That's wild. What do you wish you saw more often at weddings?
You talked about this on a reel recently that I saw.
Okay.
But those more informal weddings that are less of the sit down and more cocktail hour style at a bar. I've seen people, there was like one that we did at a place called Rex at the Royale. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's like very upscale bar. So chill, like such a great ambiance. I've done weddings like Yards Brewing was like really cool. Like it's like there's one like Ladder 15 or something. like in Center City, like
Yeah.
a bar.
Yeah.
Like bringing the whole wedding to that informal like room. Like if I could redo my wedding, I got married during 2020, so it was like a
Sure.
10-person at home thing, but like that's what I would do. I feel like I don't know, it's just so much more relaxed. I love that it's not so like formal, like sitting down with the same table. It's like more like you're moving about a space. It's a really cool experience, and I think people get a lot out of it because it's a lot less about like we're going in, we're sitting down, we're having dinner, and it's more like mix and mingle all night.
This goes back to Gen Z changing the game
Mhm.
of what's important at weddings, and like think of seating charts and like how annoying that can be and all these other things as far as these formal sit downs. So I keep preaching it, keep talking about it. I hope it just keeps going. But like I definitely think the maximizing the fun, the dance floor, the energy and vibes, and not so stuffy. And listen, I don't want to ever take away from the beautifulness, the
That works
ambiance,
for a
the
lot
wedding.
of people.
Right, but like
That is some people's dream, but I feel like there's a lot of couples out there that don't know that that is an option. Like how many couples go through and like do the traditional wedding,
so
but they really would have thrived.
one of our favorite vendors just commented on that video and said, but the venues will never make money from it. And I actually want to comment back on this and tell her that I think she's wrong. It's all about how it's marked up, if you will. But going above and beyond on bigger and more powerful hors d'oeuvres, it has to be obviously charged at some sort of rate where they're not losing money. But I just don't think you need a sit down beef and seafood or whatever,
No.
chicken.
Some of the most memorable weddings, I think, for me personally, were those like more open format types of weddings where I'm like, wow, like I would love to be a
Stations.
guest. Yeah, stations and like all night because when I go to cocktail hour, like I'm too busy yapping. And then by dinner time, I'm hungry. And then you have that meal. And like, I don't know, like I feel like I'd rather like be drinking and like eating and like
Yeah.
all night long. Like that's just me.
I'm like finger foods.
Hmm.
Yeah. And again,
And the food's usually better.
yeah. And that's what I meant by finger foods. Like, I'm cool with scallops wrapped in bacon and like, I'm cool. I want the hot dogs, pigs in a
You know what
blanket,
else?
but like
Yeah, I've seen literally like burgers and fries and chicken fingers. And I'm like, this freaking
sliders.
slaps.
Right.
I see taco bars. Taco bar all night long. Amazing. Go back for seconds, thirds.
Bacon bar. I saw
So
a bacon bar 10 years ago at Normandy Farm. I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I've never saw it again. And it comes up on my timeline every so. I can't believe I haven't brought this up on a pod with Keith before. Bacon bar. Everything bacon. Glazed, like bacon, BLT sandwich, everything bacon. I'm bringing it up again.
my
Bacon
gosh.
bars.
Bacon bars is making a thing.
Amanda from Love Struck Pictures. Any final thoughts?
I think we covered a lot, Harry.
I appreciate you coming on. 12 years in the making. She is the only person that apparently has been on the pod that's known me when she was a child. And I appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, Harry. It's been real.
Awesome. We're out of here, people. Later.